Good evening, everyone. My name's Stacy Martinez. I have the pleasure of doing Chapter 11, The Elevation of Media in Television. There are two parts to this chapter. First is television and the other is radio. I will just be going over television with everybody. So some of the learning objectives we have, first of all, to examine the structure of the television and radio industries and the role of each medium in the advertising program. Second, to consider the advantages and limitations of TV. Third, to explain how advertising time is purchased from the broadcasting media and how audience are measured and how rates are determined. And last, to consider future trends in TV and radio and how they will influence the use of these media in advertising. Television paves the way for college sports. So what does this actually mean to us? It paves the way for college sports? Well, what advertisers have found out is their viewers who are out there that actually want to watch live sports. And with live sports, it's a less chance for people to record the games, fast forward through the commercials. So advertisers are willing to pay more for broadcasting rights for sporting events like this. $25 billion in rights fees to college conferences, and ESPN alone spends an estimate of $7 billion. Now we're going to go over some advantages of television. Television is known for the ideal advertising medium. It has the ability to combine visual images, sound, motion, and color, presenting the advertisers with the opportunity to develop the most creative and imaginative appeals of any medium. So we come to the first one, creativity and impact. When you look at a commercial, the first thing that comes to you, how does it draw you in? What's the creative part behind this commercial, and how does it impact you? I mean, they offer sound, tremendous creative flexibility, and makes possible dramatic, lifelike, representative product and services. The next one is coverage and cost effectiveness. This is where exactly looking at a Super Bowl commercial. It covers so many people. You get 1 million or more people nationwide, makes it the best cost-effective way for them to get their advertisement out and for the most people to see it. And then we got the creativity and attention, captivity and attention. How do they captivate you? And how do they keep your attention? Do they use humor? Do they use your emotions? Do they tell you a story? Do they even keep your attention? And then the next one is selectivity and flexibility. So here, this one reminds me of when I was a little kid, and when was the main time I wanted to get up was on Saturday. Why? Because that was prime time for cartoons. So when they're advertising on television, they find the prime times when they should air certain things. So the commercials during cartoons, what did we see? We've seen little action figures, dolls, any new product they'd come out with, that's what would be on commercials. If you guys ever noticed, didn't your TV get louder? I remember my parents yelling at me, "Hey, turn down the TV," and I was like, I didn't turn it up. It must be on a commercial. Now that I'm older, I realize that that's one way they get your attention. You'll be playing a regular show. Next thing you know, a commercial comes on, the volume goes up about 2 or 3 turns. Now we're going to go over some limitations of television. The main one is cost. It's very expensive to air on where you can be cost effective at, like the Super Bowl commercials. They're very expensive and a lot of advertising can't afford it. So we then come to the lack of selectivity. So what happens here is, like a big corporation like Walmart, they can put out a commercial and it's going to go nationwide, which is great because they're a nationwide place. But for the mom and pop shops, if they use the commercial, it's going to air the exact same way, but it's ineffective because they only are in a certain area. So it's not cost effective for them at all. And then we got the fleeting message. This means that commercials have now went down to 30 seconds at a time. And when they go down that low, um, you really don't, the viewers see something and they don't even know what they're seeing. So it's like fleeting through it. They don't even know where it was or anything. And that ties into the clutter. Same thing. Your show's over and you are flooded, in a sense, cluttered with 4 or 5 commercials all at once, 30 seconds. Did we really understand or see anything as a viewer? Probably not. And then we go to the limited viewing attention. What happens here, the two main things that stick out is zipping and zapping. Zipping is where you fast forward through the commercials. That's with the new DVRs and pre-recorded stuff, so you really never see commercials. And then zapping is when you're watching your TV show and you just start clicking through. Every time a commercial comes on, you click to another one. What Prime TV has found that if they aired those Prime television shows and they all go to commercial at the same time. So that makes it a lot easier, hopefully, for them to get their view across. And then we come to distrust and negative evaluation. Everybody has critics, even commercials. Advertisement is just one of those things. Can you actually believe it? Same thing goes for you're watching a commercial. Can you see what you believe? Like I remember the main one is like a chamois commercial, and they pour a whole bunch of water on the table and they take this chamois and it just soaks it up and absorbs it and he wrings it out. Well, a lot of people know that really isn't true, so that's how they get that negative evaluation. Now we're to buying television time. So this is network versus spot, methods of buying time, selecting time periods and programs, cable television, measuring the TV audience. So here we're going to go over network advertising. A network assembles a series of affiliated local TV stations or affiliates to which it supplies programs and services. CBS, NBC, ABC, the CW, and Fox are some of the main network advertisers we have. Here we got spot and local advertising. This refers to the commercials shown and local TV stations with time negotiated and purchased directly from the individual stations. Then we got syndicated programs, which are shows that are sold or distributed on a station-by-station, market-by-market basis. Here we got methods of buying time. We've got 3 main ones: sponsorship arrangements, which is an advertiser assumes responsibility for the production and usually the content of the program, as well as the advertising that appears within it. Participation is where advertising participate in a certain program once or several times on a regular or irregular basis. And then we have spot advertisements, are bought from the local stations and generally appear during the time periods adjacent to the network program. Here we're going over selecting time periods and programs. This is where the TV periods are divided into day parts. This is where they go over like prime time. And you can see over here on the common television day parts, I just put a little graph of like when the times are prime, late news, overnight, and these are all where they advertise at different times, different costs. Now we come to cable television. The growth of cable started out as antenna TV, then we had basic cable, then we came to extended cable, and now superstations, which is HBO, ESPN. Then the next would be advertising on cable. Time can be purchased on a national, regional, or local, which is spot level. Interconnections, cable systems, and networks in geographical areas. Then we got advantages of cable, selectivity and narrowcasting. And then there's limitations of cable, overshadowing by major networks. And then the future of cable, multiplexing. Also, what was part of Chapter 11 was digital and social media perspectives. Well, one of our classmates, Zany, she went over this in her presentation, this last assignment 4, and she was asking, what's the future of television? What's the direction it's taking? She thinks it's going to be obsolete. I would have to agree with her. I think we're moving into the digital area where everything's going to be on internet, social media, and as you already see it now, if you guys are into social media, which I'm sure you are, there's commercials on that. So that's where they're capturing us as viewers, and about 86% of us that watch television multitask on our mobile devices now. And then 40% of us use mobile devices for social networking. And then 33% utilize various apps and texting all while we're watching TV. So these next two slides are a little bit about our top network, and then there'll be a short video after. ESPN, TV's most powerful network. ESPN makes money from selling advertisement time as well as cable subscriber fees, major deals with NBA, and rights to airing college football and basketball games. Their theme song, which you just heard, is known worldwide. They are the worldwide leader in sports and has become the world's largest sports media brand.
We are together. We play as one, we win as one.
To me, there's nothing like this spectacle in all of sport.
You can sacrifice 4 months for a lifetime of memories. They came to whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Whose house?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's football time. Pack it up, pack it in, let us begin. It's Saturday night. College game day. Set sail from Waco.
It's College Football Live.
The committee has shown us in the past that big wins matter. Who is going to be in when it's all said and done? Each year presents its own unique set of circumstances.
Every football player in the world dreams about winning the Heisman.
Bowl Mania is off and running.
This is electric. A lot of fun. A fitting climax to this football season.
This place is officially lit.
All I know is we going to the Natty. That's all I know.